Welcome back, our precious viewer. Now, this is Worship Unveiled here at Mamlaka TV with me, your host Mbugua GK. We are having a very interesting topic today, and before we went for a short break, we were touching something on fatherhood, how important fatherhood is to a worship minister. And our guest today, Reverend Faith, was telling us about we were talking about David going to fight Goliath, and Saul anamuuliza, whose father are you?
Whose son are you?
Whose son are you? In other words, who is your father? And these days, if you pop that question to many worship ministers, many of them will not tell you, this is my father. Yeah. There are others who call, they have fathers who they cannot interact with. Yeah. Mtu wako majuu wako America, but he's my father. Mwingine hata hakujui, but you're still calling them, this is my father. Please help us understand how important is this fatherhood to a worship minister?
I think the first thing I would like to say is that, number one, we have a problem. We lack fatherhood.
Yes, yes.
There's a lack of fatherhood. The fact that you come to the church where I pastor, you come sit at the back, does not necessarily mean that I father you. We have cases where somebody will claim that they have been fathered by you. They are members of that church. Akipata stress, unamtafuta, unamwambia, I saw you once.
Yes.
And that's like a year ago. Akwambia nakujanga. And when they know your many, they think they can play with that. So there are those who come and like Isaiah chapter 4 says that in the last days 4 women will hang on to one man and say, yes, we will drink our water, we will eat our food, we will clothe us, just give us your name. So there are people who do not want that level of commitment where they identify. And when it comes to worshipers, it is really a problem because, number one, there is a scarcity of fatherhood. A father is somebody who does not just give seed, but he mentors. He makes sure that this person is eating healthy, is protected, is healthy.
That again. A father is somebody who
does not just give seed.
Does not just. So he gives seed, but not that alone.
Yes.
Okay.
You nurture. You make sure this child is protected. This child is safe. You can answer for them. You can answer for them.
Yes, yes.
You can say, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased.
Yes, yes.
They have your DNA. They carry the DNA that you carry. They speak like you, they talk like you. Yes. And you can confidently say, follow me as I follow Jesus.
Yes, yes.
Confidently. Now that is a son. Now there is a problem with fatherhood. Number one, there are those who have never been fathered. Because maybe akiwa 12 years old, alisimama kwa church, akaimba vizuri, akapigiwa makofi. The next thing, somebody amempeleka, hey, nimekuja na mtoto anajua kuimba, wanapiga makofi. Hey, kuna mtoto, yeah. Before you know it, you're 16. Before you know it, you're 21.
Yes, yes.
Umejaa bling na tattoos na nywele rangi zote. Hata hatujui ulianzia wapi. Wewe mwenyewe hujui. Then we have cases of fathers who do not take responsibilities, just like in the natural.
Yes, yes.
Where we have fatherless children, even in the spiritual realm, we have fathers who never take responsibilities.
Yeah.
The son might hold claim to the father, but the father does not hold claim to the son. So we have a problem with, I don't want to use the word bastard, but children who have never been fathered because the father refused to take responsibility. And then they got somebody else that saw the gift in this person and decided, I am buying this gift, not necessarily ninakupea pesa, but those words of ukicheza keyboard nitakulipa.
Yes. Okay.
Ukiimba nitakulipa. So mapema haraka upesi anajua everything I do there's a price for it.
There's a price for it.
We also have a problem of sons that have been hurt by the father.
So before you go to the next point, now this introduction of if you play the keyboard, maybe we have agreed I'll give you this certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Is it possible to be introduced to the same and still make that your father, or sonship involves coming and serving without expecting something?
My take,
Yes.
I wouldn't say there is something, it is wrong
Yes.
to gift this person because they are doing ministry.
Yes, yes.
And it's good to appreciate.
Yes.
But when this person places a demand, if you don't, I won't.
Yeah, okay.
It's like my biological children, there are times I will just gift them. Like one of my daughters, my baby is in Form 3. When she came home for the holiday, she had moved in maths to 86% from, I think, 69. I gifted her. That was amazing.
Yes, yes.
You know, but that does not mean every time she adds 1 mark, asema mam nilipita ongeza do. The fact that if you place a demand, something is wrong.
Something is wrong.
That's what I mean.
So, you can still be appreciating the gift.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Because okay, let's call it appreciating because it's
Yes.
not payment.
Yes.
You appreciating.
You
that
can
this
never
person,
afford.
You can never afford.
You
to
can
pay
never
them.
afford that gift.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So the question comes: how will this person become a son? For example, I'm coming to deliverance. I want to be. I came to play keyboard. So how do I become a son? And there is another question.
Yes.
If today I am in Nakuru, but now God gives me a greener pasture, maybe in Mombasa, and I go and I start serving to another church, so do I automatically become a son there? Is the pastor there, does the pastor there become an automatic father to me? Or how does this relationship of son-father start?
As I said,
Yes,
I started by saying sons are birthed.
they are birthed.
Yeah, there's a seed deposit.
Yes, yes.
And then after that there's nurturing. But there's also another way you can get a son.
Okay.
Through adoption. I can adopt you
Okay.
to be my son.
Okay.
And if you go to Mombasa, you might start off straight off as adoption. You might start off by doing ministry, and then now it depends with the father,
Okay.
depends with the son, and the relationship that they are cultivating.
The previous father or now the current
You
one.
see, for example, for me, let me give an example with me because
Yes,
I
yes.
know me best.
Yes, yes.
When I got born again, there is a place where I was nurtured and where my gifts were nurtured, where I grew in faith. And then later I got married. So I got my spiritual father-in-law
Yes.
because of my husband. And then later we moved now to start our ministry. And all this time, there's always been, I have my father.
Yes, yes.
Then there's this other father that I found through my husband. And then now where we are at now. Now, I cannot deny the father who birthed me in faith, or the one whom we served with
Yes.
for almost 20 years. I cannot deny that there is a place they have birthed me in, and there's an impact they have in my life. So what I mean is this: you might move from Nakuru and go to Lokichogio, and when you go, when you have been released by this father, it does not mean the relationship is over.
Yes.
It does not mean the relationship is done, because my daughter in America is still my daughter.
Yes.
She carries my DNA. My son in Kariobangi South is still my son. They carry my DNA. It's this point of denying that this person exists and they had no part to play in your life, that causes you to have disaster huko mbele. Sijui kama nina make sense.
Yes.
Yes. So
then another question I would ask, now birthing, there are those who led us to Christ. So we got born again.
Yes.
Then maybe at a point, we went somewhere else maybe, and others baptized us. And now, maybe by then we were not serving.
Yeah.
But now we found ourselves now serving somewhere. Now all those people took part in the, do we call it the birthing? Or what is this birthing you are talking about?
I believe birth is when you give your life to Jesus Christ.
Okay.
That is the birth.
Yes.
And I think we should not be, how do I put this, tusikosane na wachungaji, we should not be fighting for these ministers. Ni kama tunakimbilia nguo ya kamera. Kubali ya kwamba even as you bring up this son, maybe wewe ndio ulimwombea akaokoka.
Yes.
Alafu kuna mwingine, Paul says, huyu alibatiza, ule akakuza. Hakuna utukufu unaenda kwa mwanadamu.
Okay.
It's the Lord who brings increase. So kama aliokokea hapa, akabatiziwa pale, akaanza kuhubiria huko, bado ni mtoto wa Mungu. I don't need to have claim to him, just lazima ukue hapa. I birthed you. Stop scaring these people, because hawa ni watoto wa Mungu.
Ni watoto wa Mungu.
Na Mungu ameona awatumie. And let me tell you, you can stay at a place. There is a friend of mine who says, I have my father in the faith. I have my father in the grace I carry. I have my father in the word. You realize, na sisemi hivyo ndio tukue vagabonds, tukue fathered everywhere. As you grow, you can outgrow the grace I carry.
Okay.
I can help you until a certain point, and then you outgrow the grace that I carry. And in the next season of your life, if it is going to be under a different ministry, bora there is a good working relationship, I release you. It is God who gives increase. So that is my take.
If you release somebody, where he goes to another ministry, now he becomes a son to somebody else. So you will be a father, and he has another father.
Yeah.
So that's allowed.
I would think so, because I have spiritual children in Mombasa, in Isiolo,
Yes.
in Nairobi, Kabete. It does not change that this is where they started,
Yes.
but this is where they are at now.
Okay. I get your point. You say that
there's a
the
place,
working relationship is still there.
Yeah.
You are not running from home.
Na bora,
hopping from one home to the other.
Very key.
Yes.
Very key. Asikuwe alitoka na rebellion.
Okay.
Because sasa hiyo ataenda na mavumbi, ataenda na baraka. That's very key.
That's very key.
Usikue tu ulitoka ukisemanga mi naenda, Mungu ananitumia, Mungu ananenea.
Yes.
Alafu ende kama umebang mlango, you might need that door again. Yeah.
So let me ask this question. Okay, the structure of churches is different.
Totally.
Like you go like in, for example, in some churches, not to mention the names,
Yes.
You find in those churches, their structures allow a pastor to come. Then after maybe 6 months, he's transferred. Another one is brought.
Yeah.
Members hawatoki.
Yes.
Wako tu pale.
Yeah.
So who becomes the father there? Because maybe in a span of 2 years, you have 4 ministers who have come and gone.
Yes.
Who do you call a father there?
Also, that's most of those structures are the structures where the key person in that ministry is not really the pastor. It is the church board or the elders council.
The local church now.
The local church.
Okay.
Most of those that have transfers, the authority lies on the church board or the elders council or the deacon council of deacons. So those things also determine some of those decisions that are made towards the transfers and so on.
Yes, yes.
So because of the way it is done, I am giving it from my understanding, especially the Pentecostal
Yes.
Side, because if everybody who has ever spoken a sermon in my life is my father, I don't know who I am.
You are confused.
You should be able to trace your DNA.
Yes, yes.
You should be able to trace your DNA. Huyu ndio aliniombea nikaokoka. Huyu ndio aliniombea huyu ndio alinibatiza. Huyu ndio aliniombea nikajazwa na Roho Mtakatifu. You can be able to trace your DNA, and some of that should flow out. As I talk with you, I can tell your father because of the DNA kenye kako kwa system. But if you have everything, there is like a movie I saw, it's an animation. I think many people have watched it. It's called Rango. Rango kanaingia mjini, kanakuta the first person nakutana na yeye, it's a deserted place, it's somewhere in the desert. So in that place anakuta mtu wa kwanza anatembea hivi, anamfuata akitembea hivyo. Kidogo kidogo anaona mwingine anavuruta mguu, anaona hii ndio style. Anatufuata huyo akitembea. Akiwa anamfuata anaona ule ana bounce. Anamfuata akibounce. If that is the way a minister will behave,
yes.
Who are you?
The confused minister.
Yes.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, this topic of fatherhood with ministers is very important. Now, we have been trying to understand what is this fatherhood.
Yeah.
I wonder, as when we come back, you try and help us understand why it is important, especially for worship ministers, not to be freelance.
Yes.
And to have a father, or maybe a covering, or somewhere you can be, you are traced, you can be traced from.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we get to know more about why it is important to have a father.